Hello everyone, I'm DW and welcome back to Orcs Must Die. This time around we've been introduced to the Flame Bracers, which are a pretty fantastic weapon. Their primary shoots out like a little AoE fireball, and their alternative attack, which is probably my favorite attack in the game, lays down a nice long firewall which destroys any enemies who walks through it.
Flame Bracers from the Order Enchanters? Nice! Double order of charbroiled orcs, extra crispy, coming right up.
So we'll take a tour of this level. This level is called Chokepoint, and you can probably tell why. So we have these 3 doors here. Then if we run back over here, we have these 2 platforms where we will be placing a ton of archers on either side. If we go back down, you can see we have these little hallways here that lead right down into a single rift. We are not going to be barricading off these areas because enemies won't be getting through to here. So we don't even have to worry about that back area. We're going to be setting up right here. So let's open our spellbook. So this time around you can see we don't have very many enemies to deal with. We don't have any gnolls or flyers or anything mean. For this level we of course are going to be bringing our Flame Bracers, our archers, our spike traps, our tar traps, and our arrow walls. Just come on, Dave, get to it. Hit those things. Then we are going to be bringing our barricades and our boom barrels. And right now I'm just going to be switching which slot barricades and boom barrels are, because the way I play, it's a little easier to have boom barrels on 7 than it is 8. So we're going to start off by placing down 2 barricades here. And eventually we will put up some tar, but first we're going to select our weavers. Of course we're going to go with death augmentators, so we get more gold from trap kills, and that will be super helpful when we use boom barrels.
A little present for you.
So now eventually we will have tar pretty much covering any area in front of the barricade. And we're going to get a ton of archers off to the sides here. But for right now, that's all we have. So now, let's show you what the Flame Bracers can do. Take a few pot shots at them, but we're just going to use the alternate attack, lay a firewall down, then we're just going to place a boom barrel right in front of it, shoot the boom barrel, get big combos. Well, not big combos, but you can see. The great thing about this strategy is not only is it a lot of fun, but you get a pretty decent high score for it as well. Yeah, why don't we put more tar down? Let's get more archers. You know, could never use enough archers, or that's not how you phrase that at all. Whatever. You might notice that the archers shoot into the barricades at these kobolds. That's okay because we really want them to be shooting at the choke point in the center there, more than at enemies beyond the archway, or at least the ones that are behind the barricade here. And this is the primary of the Flame Bracers. And now we're going to set up some archers up on these top platforms. These guys will be primarily to weaken up enemies and take out a lot of stragglers. We're going to get a ton of enemies coming through these doors. I think, especially in the later levels where it seems like there are 100 guys coming in at us. But when they're all coming through this one choke point, it just is very easy to manage them. This is not a difficult level at all, but it's still probably one of my favorite levels in the entire series. So now, why don't we increase our Guardian armor? We're eventually gonna get the oil trap gears, but we don't really need it. I mean, the only traps that reset that we have with us are the arrow walls and the spike traps. The spike traps there are there just to really just, you know, weaken guys a bit. So eventually we will get arrow walls set up here, but I want to show you off I wanted to show off a little glitch here. We can actually set arrow walls inside the wall here. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you any sort of benefit. Like the trap will trigger, but the arrows will get stopped by the collision of the wall, so it's not as useful as the other bugs for like the ceiling traps, but still, it's something funny that I noticed, so I figured I would show it off. And I stuck here maybe a little too long. Anyway, let's get more archers down. Yes? No? There we go. Also, put down a few arrow walls soon. Once I realized, like, oh wait, I forgot to put down the arrow walls. So, if you couldn't really tell there, the War Mage was saying that he started to hear voices coming through the gates there. Maybe that's the people, or the person who is controlling the Horde? Oh, we'll just have to wait to see. I don't know why the audio was so quiet on his voice, but whatever. You also got to see how effective the Flame Bracers are against Ogres. They're not the best, but they're better than the crossbow, especially once you stun them. Whoops, and I accidentally used the primary instead of the secondary. Fortunately, we had plenty of mana. The secondary on the Flame Bracers is fairly it's fairly expensive. Most of the secondaries are, now that I think about it, though. Gonna get another tar trap down there just to slow them down if they do end up getting through. We're gonna put more archers up. This level, we will be reaching the Guardian limit. Don't think that's a spoiler to say. But you'll see just how powerful tons of archers can be. I try and keep it symmetrical. It doesn't really matter, but it's just more of a... more visually appealing that way. And, oh, this ogre got through before I could place the boom barrel. That could have gone real bad. You can see the barricades are a bit damaged, but it doesn't matter. They get repaired during a break wave anyway. We got so much money. We have over 5,000 coins, so we might as well buy it. You know, it'll help out a little bit. It's not that big of a deal. We're gonna get even more archers up. I think we're maybe 3 away from the Guardian limit at this point. Ran out of money. That's okay. But yeah, you can see I'm not even attacking because the archers are, there's just so many of them that I kind of really don't even have to do anything. So let's get another one. Now here I'm just checking to see if I had reached the Guardian limit yet or not. That's a lot of arrows. You can probably tell how easy this level is with archers. I might do an alternate take of this where I don't use archers at all, but maybe a little later. Probably once I have a few better traps. We'll see. And there, we're at the Guardian limit, so let's sell this guy. And since he's the last one, we're going to put him way in the back here, because, you know, he's an elf and he deserves it. No, because why not? Maybe if something somehow gets through, it's not going to happen, though. We have just enough. Why don't we put some more spike traps down? I kind of messed up with the boom barrel placement there. You actually want to place the boom barrel behind the fire wall instead of in front of it, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter too much.
I like this
So we have
one.
so much money. At this point I really didn't know what to spend it on. Like we could get this. It'll add a bleeding damage over time effect to our spike traps, and I think the arrow walls? Not sure if the arrow walls count as piercing. And this is the last wave, so we only have this one ogre to deal with, an absolute ton of orcs. I think there's another ogre coming in at the side at some point. Might have been some kobolds in there. Who can say? But yeah, these archers will just rip through the ogres. Anyway, that's 5 skulls. Tell by his little dance. Let's see, how do we do score-wise? Probably pretty good. We, had a 3 times combo on almost every guy, so yeah, we got a pretty decent score there. We crushed the part-time even though I took a long time explaining things. And we have a ton of skulls, so why don't we buy an upgrade? Now, I took a while trying to think which upgrade I wanted to get. It was either the Shock Zapper, turning it into the Storm Zapper, which just gives it an additional charge, or going with the Floor Scorcher. I'm not going to go with the Mana Well or the Mana Fountain. The Floor Burner is really good, and we are going to be using it on the next level, but I ended up going with the Shock Zapper upgrade because I kind of like using that trap a bit more for whatever reason. We'll eventually probably have both of them upgraded. I could have gone with like the Spring Trap or the Push Wall, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, I've been DW, thanks for watching.